Hello everyone and welcome back to the BAD podcast, short for Botched Audio Dialogues. I'm here with Poppy,
Hello.
who is the head of the Environmental Society, the president of the Environmental Society. So today Poppy will be talking to us a little bit about that. So can you tell me a little bit about your role on the society?
Well, I'm the president of the society, so essentially I organise what the society does. In a nutshell, the society is there to support the university in making good, sustainable decisions. So we sort of represent the student body as a whole and go, yes, this is good, please do this sustainable thing, or no, that's a terrible, not sustainable idea. They don't do that very often, so that's good. But yeah, we also do some like fun socials and things, because obviously it's a bit of a heavy topic. It's not that much fun for a society.
No, but you have just had Green Week, so...
Yes, exactly. Green Week was very good. Yeah, we do like litter picks or film nights or games nights, all sustainable and environment themed. Yeah.
I think it's a really good way for people to learn as well, instead of somebody just standing there like with a leaflet being like, did you know that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it is nice. I think next semester we're definitely going to try and branch out a bit and try and spread the sustainable word around the campus.
Spread the sustainable word.
Yes.
I love it. You got to have that on your leaflet.
I know,
Spreading the sustainable word.
I want that on a t-shirt. That'd be great.
You can wear it to marches and stuff.
Yes. Very good.
Amazing.
Oh.
So, I went to one of your, you came to the SU on Tri-Campus and you did a thing for Green Week there. You had loads of like really fun games. Is that sort of what you do in your society?
Yeah, what games?
Because I think I went up to your booth and you had the, guess how long it takes to decompose?
Yeah, that was a good game actually. I was quite surprised at how interested people were.
I was surprised at how much like I got wrong. I was like looking at me and like, wait, that takes 50 years? I thought that took 100.
Yeah, it's actually really hard. I definitely wouldn't have been able to get a lot of them right if I hadn't made it. But it was turned out to be quite a good game. But we had a games night the other night with the society, and we had pin the tail on the squirrel. Obviously not very educational, but very cute.
But squirrels are cute. I saw one on I went walking through the woods the other day because I was looking for locations for my dissertation, and there was like a perfect like shot of a squirrel on a little tree stump with just chewing on something, and I was like, am I a Disney princess? Like, come to me, forest animals. But yeah, no, squirrels are cute. That was my point. But
we had education pong, or what was it called? It had a better name than that, but it was basically what's it called? Beer pong. But if you got the ball in a cup, you got a question, and then the answer was in the cup. So if you got it right, you got a point.
So you all based on Bognor campus, or are you based on Tri-Campus?
We try and alternate each week. So 1 week we'll have it on Bognor, 1 week we'll have it on Chichester, just to sort of make it a bit fairer for the members. Because I think it's kind of a 50-50 split between both the campuses. So yeah, that just makes it a bit easier really. So we're kind of everywhere.
Yeah. So I just want to get into a bit more of you rather than the society. So what made you want to go sustainable to begin with?
My sustainability journey, if you will, kind of started when my friend invited me to go to a, I think it was a Fridays for Future march. I can't remember when, but a few years ago. And
preferably on a Friday, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably on a Friday. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, I went, and it was such an amazing atmosphere that I thought, I kind of hadn't really thought about it that much before, and then suddenly it was at the forefront of my mind, and I was like, I've got to really make a choice here. So I sort of started changing little things slowly, and then that was kind of it really. Just getting more involved in stuff, and just having it more at the forefront of my consciousness, I guess.
Yeah, because I think a sustainable lifestyle, it takes baby steps. You can't just suddenly drop everything in one night and go, this is how I'll live now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's, not sustainable. So there you go.
Exactly. I think I remember my first sustainable swap was actually a toothbrush. It was changing from a plastic one to a bamboo one. And what I was really disappointed with, which I've seen this word around a lot, which is greenwashing, was I ordered it online, and then it came in plastic packaging, and then it came in a box, and then I opened the box, and there was more plastic packaging. And I'm like, well, okay, what's the point of this swap? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's just, it is a minefield sometimes, because you think you're doing something good, and then you read into it a bit more, or, it comes in plastic, and well, what was the point of that? It is quite hard to navigate, because the world isn't designed at the moment to be sustainable. That's kind of the whole problem.
Yeah.
So trying to, find good sustainable swaps in some cases can be really difficult. So, I mean, don't be too hard on yourself if you're trying to make a swap, because it's quite hard. I'm just trying to think of what sustainable swap I made first. I can't really remember.
I think I only remember the toothbrush one, because the packaging, I was like, oh, this is the opposite of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Are there any places that you recommend for first-time people who want to go first-time sustainables? For anybody who wants to go sustainable, any recommendations of where they can
go? I find Instagram really handy, following a lot of Instagram accounts. I think there's one called Eco Tips or something. Yes. And it's really good.
Yeah.
Because they have just like a little tip that you can do. And I'd think, I'll do that this week. And it just makes it so much easier to do just like one little thing at a time.
I love those Instagram pages where like they go, because obviously like, I don't know what it is about Christmas and like buying oranges, but they're like, here's what you do with your old oranges, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I'll do that. And also it keeps me entertained for like 20 minutes if I do the thing they tell me to do. So
yeah, it's true.
Instead of just mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dry out my oranges now and make them into pompourri or something.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. I love upcycling stuff. I like being very creative and making things. The other night I made some little like stars to hang up in the window. It's like a little decoration. Cute. But we get so much junk mail. I put like a no junk mail please sign on the letterbox. But people just still post junk mail anyway. It's super annoying.
There's two flats in my building, and like we don't know. Neither of us want to take the junk mail. So like you open the door, and it's just like you can't see the carpet. It's just junk mail.
No, that's so annoying. Anyway,
I know.
But I kept it all, and I used like I think it was an Aldi magazine, and I like folded it up, and I used that to make the little decorations, little star decorations.
Yeah,
that was quite good. And
So I mentioned earlier about greenwashing, and I think that term has definitely bubbled to the surface. I can't talk today. Has bubbled to the surface since COP26 finished. A lot of people weren't happy with how COP26 finished, but I wanted to ask for your opinion on greenwashing and how people can avoid it, because we're obviously talking about how I bought my first bamboo toothbrush and that was blatant greenwashing because it was wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is everywhere. It is quite hard to avoid. I get tripped up on it quite a lot still. I mean, really, the only way to avoid it is really making sure that you do your research on what you're buying and that sort of thing, really. Obviously, it takes a lot of time, and it'd be great if that didn't happen. But I mean, if you think about, rather than think about the product, I think about like the company that make the product. So if you go, H&M, for example, great, I like their conscious range, that's super good. But then you realise that, H&M is fast fashion. They're not great in general. It's still one of those things that gets me. So
I find fast fashion really annoying, because I do walk by shops and I'm like, oh, that looks really nice.
Yeah,
and like that would be great on a night out. And sometimes I gave in like a couple of weeks ago where I bought myself a dress and I walked out and I was like, oh, what have I done? But like I've realised going into more charity shops, you can find like 90% of this like similar things in charity shops.
Very true.
Better actually.
Yeah. I think pretty much all my clothes now, because I've been using charity shops for so long, pretty much all of them are from charity shops. All the things that I bought like years ago, I've just kept them. But I mean, I think with your dress thing, that's fine if you know that you're going to wear it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, you've got to have
I'm my harshest critic, so like, I throw a little bit of food away and I'm like, oh wow, I've just killed the planet.
Same.
Like,
I know. I really beat myself up about it. But that's the whole thing that I'm trying to not let other people do, is beat yourself up about stuff. Because no point.
I think my favourite quote that I found that made me stop beating myself up a lot, because when I first discovered sustainability and was like, oh wow, okay, I should be doing this because we need the planet, I tried to drop everything at once.
Yeah.
And I was like beating myself up because I was like, I just bought a cup of coffee and I forgot to use my reusable mug.
Yeah.
So when I saw the phrase, we don't need one person doing zero waste perfectly, we need like thousands of people doing it imperfectly, I was like, actually, you know what, that's correct.
That makes a lot of sense.
As much as I would love to avoid plastic completely, you really can't.
Yeah, it's just not practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Especially in the world that we live in, it's completely impossible. You really can't. So it's definitely better to do things like, you know, well, yeah, just as you said, imperfectly, rather than trying to force yourself to do everything perfectly, because it's just not possible, really.
Yeah, I still find it annoying because, like, I'll go to the supermarket and I'll be like, I've just bought, like, an onion and some pepper and, like, you know, and it's got no packaging whatsoever, and then I feel like, and then I'm like, and then my lettuce and cucumber, like, which is in packaging.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
but
you just can't avoid it.
Unless you're, like, sitting there growing your own fruit and veg.
Yeah, which would be great. I would love to do that.
Yeah, so would I, but I live in a one-bedroom flat in a city, so
yeah, exactly.
That's impractical.
Yes. Yeah,
just
exactly.
Walk into your living room, it's covered in soil.
Just a random cucumber coming out.
I'm like, this is dinner tonight, by the way. It's an eggplant that I grew myself. Yeah, so don't beat yourself up about it is a big message that I'm giving to you. So even if you're not part of the Environmental Society at Chichester University, are they welcome to approach any of your members and just ask questions?
Of course, yeah. I mean, everyone within the society is still on their own sustainable journey as well. So everyone's all at very different points.
So you've got some absolute beginners and then someone up there who's like...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, we have the
making their own clothes and stuff.
But yeah, I mean, please, if anyone has any questions, please obviously feel free to ask. We have an Instagram page, so please follow and message us.
And
if you have any
link
questions.
that in the show notes for you.
Thank you. Yeah, so please do ask anything if you have any questions, because I mean, if it's a case of, you know, you wanting to change something at the university or suggesting something to make the university more sustainable, obviously you can go to the staff, but sometimes the society can be a good place to go first, because then it can sort of be discussed and then taken to the right people, that sort of way. And if it comes from students, quite often it sort of goes a bit further.
Yeah.
So please do ask questions. You don't have to be part of the society to be sustainable.
Yeah. So you obviously mentioned that your sustainability journey started with Friday Future?
Yeah.
Future Friday? So what's your journey been like from then to now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first sort of thing I tried to do was go vegan, because I was vegetarian already, so then I slowly started to stop eating certain things or buying certain things, but that did take quite a while, so it was sort of an ongoing process. What else? I tried to go to a few more protests, but I did find that it really wasn't my scene, and I always felt really bad for not wanting to go to protests. I thought I was just sort of like copping out, but I just find the atmosphere way too overwhelming. I can't really deal with it. But recently, I've kind of had a bit of a revelation. I know, big stuff. But I've kind of realised that you don't have to go to protest if you want to be an activist. You can still be an activist without, being on the streets, being in big angry crowds, whatever. There's so many other ways of being an activist. I mean, doing your own individual action is great, but, you got to, at some point, this is something that I'm still definitely trying to learn, at some point try to do something to change how the world is run, which sounds like a massive task, and it is.
Yeah.
But, I think what I'm trying to say is that putting pressure on the government is definitely something.
And there's charities out there who really do that. They do the heavy lifting while
exactly.
you have to sign and be like, actually, I do want this change.
You're
exactly. You're the little please, and they're the ones who are putting the pressure on. Like I know, obviously WWF, they're really well known. They're really good, but so is Greenpeace. I know Amnesty isn't fossil fuel reducing or anything like that, but they're also really good for just human rights in general.
Exactly.
Which I think the right to have a planet is a pretty big human right.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I mean XR as well. If you're looking to get into more protesty stuff, definitely a good group to look into. I'm trying to think of other charities, but they're the main ones. Definitely Greenpeace. I do like Greenpeace.
Actually, Global Citizen is a charity, but also they do a really, really good newsletter.
Oh, really?
Just on sort of like everything that the charities I've just mentioned cover. Like they talk a lot about that.
Yeah. Oh,
so
okay. Interesting.
And they've got an app if you want to. I wish that they sponsored me, but they don't. I'm just saying it's a really good because they even have like a little positive news section, which I absolutely love.
That sounds good. Because so much of it is like just doom and gloom, isn't it?
Yeah,
it can make you feel very overwhelmed and like, ugh, the world's terrible.
Yeah, it's like doom and gloom, and then you have something like Sweden has just passed a law to like reduce fossil fuels.
Yeah,
I'm like
yes.
Yay. I'm like, this is all bad, but this
is great.
This is a good step forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is all definitely little steps. It actually makes me really happy to see people like you stepping up and making a society. Well, obviously you didn't make a society, but running a society, and that the society has been made to begin with. Stepping up and being like, we need to make changes, and that you educate people without pressuring them as well, because I feel like that's also sort of a big, I'm going to put air quotes around this, characteristic of eco-warriors, is that people are like, they just kind of pressure you to become vegan. We don't, we don't, we just...
No, I think there's a massive problem with a lot of people in the environmental activist kind of circles. I think I do kind of understand it because, they're so focused on this one thing and they're really heavily invested in it. Fair enough. Obviously, it's the future of the planet. But I think once you get into that sort of mindset, it is quite difficult to realise, that some other people aren't. I've been in that situation before where you end up putting a lot of pressure on someone else and then you kind of go, what am I doing? But I think a lot of people don't really realise that, so they do, become quite judgmental in a way, which definitely isn't helpful, because then that just makes you feel worse, and then you really don't want to make a change.
And it's your own individual journey. It's not
exactly.
It's not something that I found very personal, which I didn't expect it to be. Because you're not only learning a lot about the planet, but you're learning a lot about yourself and how companies deforestation companies are actually driving out indigenous people who are still just living off the grid and just quite happy, living doing their own thing, living their own lives, and suddenly somebody with a bulldozer comes on and goes, do you mind just getting out? This journey has really made me become more aware of my own actions, but also it's educated me on a lot of people around the world, and it's been really, really good.
Yeah, it's true. I think so
even if you're not fully sustainable, do some research. There's some really interesting stuff out there.
No, it's very true. I have learned so much about so many different things, just about the world in general. But yeah, as you said, about different cultures and that sort of thing, all from trying to become more sustainable and doing some research and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's really led me down some rabbit holes where I've just like looked up like how to cut out palm oil out of my life, and then I'm like up at 2 a.m. reading about like how orangutans like evolved or something.
Yeah, I've definitely been down the same one. Yeah. Definitely.
It's great. It's you find some really fun stuff. I like to turn around to my partner in the morning and just come out with like a random fact, and he's like,
"Nice, I'm gonna start doing that."
He just wakes up and he's like, "Oh no." Like, what was it? I found out the other day. Like prairie dogs, they greet each other by like kissing each other because the grooves of their teeth are all different, and that's how they acknowledge like who's who in their like packs and stuff. So that was a really weird fact I found out.
That is a great fact.
Cannot remember what I was looking up, but like that was a rabbit hole that I went down. But yeah, no, you find fun stuff out like that.
That was a great fact.
Yeah.
Keep that.
Tell your friends.
I will.
Tell your friends that prairie dogs have different grooves in their teeth, and they kiss each other to say hello. Like, it's great. So, it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of positive things. That's something, going back to the Eco Tips Instagram page, I just love it. I wish it was sponsored by them as well. But they have a lot of positive news on there as well, which always makes me happy after reading like a really depressing news article on something.
Yeah, because I also follow the BBC, and it will like something will come up like, and I'm like, and then Eco Tips will come up. I'm like, yay!
Yeah, I think starting, I can't remember whether it's 2022 or 2023, but I think Scotland are trying out the thing that they do in pretty much every other country in Europe, but
us.
Yeah, exactly, for some reason. But I think they put like an extra few pence on everything that's glass or something, and then or just stuff that's packaging that can be reused, and then if you take it back to the store, you get those pennies back.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's great.
Oh yeah. No, they do it. They definitely do it in Germany and in Holland. And many other places, I'm sure.
I don't know why that reminds me of a story of my dad who used to go around and collect like the neighbours' milk bottles and then like return them to the shop, and then he'd get money for that. I don't know why, but it's just...
It's essentially that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Love it.
I just like to illustrate that he did this when he was a kid. He's not like a 50-year-old man who still goes around collecting milk bowls.
That's what I was imagining, but I wasn't questioning it, to be fair.
No, just for our more active imagination viewers. It just made me laugh, the vision of like this 50-year-old man in like a whole suit and tie like, going around. That's a really good idea. I think the earliest sustainable movement I remember from the government is the charge on plastic bags in supermarkets.
Yeah, I think that was pretty effective, because I think especially British people, very stingy. Don't want to pay that extra 5p for a bag.
Oh yeah,
I will carry all my stuff.
But at the same time, like I'll turn around and be like, it's gonna break if I buy it, and I know it's 20p when this pound bag like will last me forever. Yeah, and pretty much all of those bags go to charity shops anyway. Because the amount of times where I'm like, you know what, I don't wear this clothes anymore, and I just put them in a bag and give them to charity shops. So.
That is very true. Yeah. No, that was a good move from the government, to be fair.
Yeah. To give them credit.
1 point to them.
Point 1 to the government. Let's see what else you can do.
Yeah. Many other minus points, but there you go.
Because I just remember there was like people moaning about it, and I was like,
yeah, but this is
20p.
The whole point. We want them to.
And now now nobody moans about it, and I'm like, see, it's not that bad. It's like trying to get a dog in a bath, where it's like, I don't want to get in, and you're like, no, see, look, it's not that bad. I find it's great actually also that our I don't want to say our generation, but I can't think of another way to describe it. That our generation is so eco-conscious, and that like, because I have like conversations with my mum about it, and she's like, "Oh, I had no idea. I'm going to stop doing that now." And I'm like, "Wow, is that easy?" Like,
yeah, no, I think that is true. I think, in a way, our generation has kind of been forced to think about
we
it.
both say that really quietly, like.
Yeah, I think it is a good thing, obviously, but also kind of at the same time a not so great thing, because obviously we wouldn't have to be thinking about it if previous generations had like sorted it all out.
It's like too late, but it's also like the people. I find it quite annoying that the people in power are like, our parents, our grandparents' age. So the fact that I find it quite comforting actually that our generation is so forward in it, because maybe somebody from Parliament goes home and their like 15-year-old kid comes up to them and is like, wait, the polar caps are melting, why aren't we doing anything about this? And he's like, oh, well, and then he has to sit there and explain to his kid like why he's not doing anything about it. And then it's in his brain or their brain or so I actually find it quite comforting.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a good way of looking at it.
It's a really weird, roundabout way of looking at it. So we are just coming up to the end, so we always like to finish off with just rapid-fire questions.
Oh, yeah.
So, just easy things like, what's your favourite ice cream flavour? Nothing too deep. Nothing like, well, what do you think is after death? Like,
oh my god, good.
No, so I just start... No, so let's start with the easy one. What's your favourite ice cream flavour?
Chocolate. Vegan chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, specifically vegan. If you could teleport, obviously no repercussions on the environment, where would you teleport to?
The 60s. I'd go to a Beatles concert.
Oh, yes. I don't know why my brain went, oh, I never thought about teleporting like time travel. I always go like, Rome or something.
Yeah, I just realised what you said. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm accepting 60s. So, if you could be any animal, would you be a flying animal, mammal, or like an aquatic one?
Oh, I think I'd like to fly.
Yeah,
Bird or something. Yeah. Fish freak me out.
So
if I was a fish, I'd be like constantly freaked out. That would be good.
Just kind of sitting in the ocean like, oh my god,
so slimy.
You
so
look
wet.
like me. And finally, what pet would you love? Being a student, what pet would you love to have?
I would really love a cat. I know it's really basic, but I would love a cat.
No, because I think if they choose to come and cuddle you, you're like, I am the chosen one.
Yes, exactly. That's very true. Exactly. I've never really liked cats. I don't know why, but in the past few months, I've just really wanted a cat.
Oh, that's so cute. So thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's been nice. We've had some laughs. It's been great. Yeah. So just before we log off, my brain buffered. Is there anything you want to say to our viewers? Is there anything you want to say to our listeners about trying to go sustainable?
Yeah, I mean, really, just to wrap it up, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Take little baby steps. Follow eco tips and the Environmental Society Instagram page.
because we've mentioned eco tips, I might as well put them in the show notes.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah,
but anyway, thank you again for listening, and we will see. Well, we won't see. We will hear. You know what? This outro is gone. Right. Hopefully you will listen to us next time. Bye.